Okay, this is an RF meter. And it's going to start at about 1 or 2, showing a peak of 2. And it's not going to do much here. And when I do this, there it goes. Someone is somehow focusing electromagnetic emissions on my head. And there's a peak of 582 volts a minute, or per meter rather. And that's not normal. That's 50 times what a web search says is normal for a residential environment. And this is happening if the breaker shut off to this room, so there's no line current in here. There are no large transformers. There's no 120 volts anywhere in here. All this is a laptop. And that raises the question of where these intense signals are coming from. That's a kilovolt per meter, which is 100 times the normal reading. And you can see here, it's away from my head, and it's a reading of 1 to 2, and I'm going to put it near my head, and it's going to spike. To some extent, I can feel this stuff happening. It's like a heater pressure on my head, or in my head. Feels like it's mostly the sides, and mostly towards the back of the head, or around where the cerebellum would be, I guess. You only point this thing at the front of your head. That's where your cognition and reasoning is, and that tends to do a number on you. Especially if they turn it way up. It's quite a feat of technology, too. This room is largely enclosed in metal screening, and it still gets through somehow. It's a mystery to me how they're able to make it so focused and localized. It's quite a technical feat, I would say, because it's very locational. There you go. It's very location specific. Very localized is the word I was looking for. There's nothing here. But where my head is, yep. I'm not wearing any equipment. There's nothing here but me, and it's reading these very large signals. guess that does it. I don't know how better to document this. There you got. And it takes a moment to update. So if you like hold it at a high signal and then bring it forward, it'll still show the previous signal for a moment. But that's the usual divide, the usual state, which is anywhere from 0 to 2. And then near my head, it spikes up to 1,000. There it is. If I brought it around fast enough, it would have still been showing the reading. But it remembers the peak, which is 1,016. So we can presume there's probably, who knows how many people in the world there are who get zapped with this thing, and it's presumably to keep them on a leash. You know, if they start saying or thinking things that are found objectionable, then they'll get hit with this thing, and really only God knows what the short-term and long-term consequences of this device could be. You know, it could serve to distract you from whatever you're doing, or it could serve to skew or affect your emotions. It could potentially confuse you or reduce your efficacy, reduce your effective intelligence. It's hard to really guess what they're trying to accomplish. It could just be to sicken you or to reduce your energy level so that you're less effective at thinking or commenting on things. It could be to reduce your contribution to the dialogue or discussion in the world because you don't feel well. You know, there are all sorts of guesses as to what it could accomplish. I mean, it doesn't feel good. At a minimum, it causes malaise. And then from there, you know, varying degrees of fanciful guesses as to what it does or doesn't do. There it is. 79. That's one of the lower spikes. 92. I don't know. I'll do another.